Yeah, 100%. It's a massive mistake to look past it. Seriously. I'm putting a stint in all of those plans. Don't book anything. Don't arrange flights and hotels. I'm knocking this guy out, becoming the CEO of Master Boxing and changing the plan. And it's going to be me versus Tyson Fury next year.
You feel like you are being disrespected with all these fans.
This is going to be the toughest fight of his career.
Shut up, relax.
The most embarrassing fight of his career.
Your chair across your face.
Yeah, I think he's about to cry.
Jake Paul has officially declared war on Anthony Joshua, leaving the boxing world stunned by his confidence, aggression, and almost reckless bravado. He's gone beyond promoting the fight or trash talk, calling it the most personal battle of his career and directly targeting Joshua, claiming he intends to end the heavyweight champion's legacy and turning the matchup into pure chaos.
And you know, that seems like a very friendly question to Jake, but you know what? It's a fair question. I'm not mad at the guy for phrasing his question that way. And again, yes, that's because Jake has a massive name and a massive spotlight. Without that, Jake is not fighting Anthony Joshua in his 14th fight. But on the other side of that, the risk involved with fighting Anthony Joshua here and some of the fights that Jake had in his first 10 or 11 fights, most pros were either having or having worse opponents for. So when people discredit Jake's career by being like, he didn't fight this guy, he didn't fight that guy, he didn't fight a number of this contender, number that, look at your favorite fighter in their first 14 fights and you pick out the opponents that they had and the level of them. Sure, you'll have your outliers, your Vasily Lomachenkos and other guys that fought tough competition right away, but most, and I mean most meaning 95% of the sport of boxing, had tomato cans until he had 15 to 20 wins. Give Jake his credit. He's fought guys that even were better on his resume than some of your favorite fighters, and now he's fighting Joshua this early. That deserves the credit that I know and the acknowledgement that
Joshua. However, given all of that, both men are going to make $92 million each. So forget my opinion. Who gives a damn when you can bank $92 million for having a little move around in a boxing ring? Fair play. You can't on that. However, let's talk about it. The reason I say that it's a lose-lose we'll start with Jake Paul first. The reason I say it's a win-win for Jake Paul is because, listen, if he wins, then he's beating a former heavyweight boxing world champion, certainly one of the best heavyweights of his generation, and of course, a man that is way bigger than Jake Paul. Of course, it's a win. And if he loses, it's still a win for Jake Paul because he had the balls. He was man enough. He was willing to test himself. He would prove everyone wrong, all his critics, like me. By the way, I'm not like out there on an island by myself. Everyone.
Jake Paul claims he's preparing for the biggest fight of his life and plans to shock the world by ending Anthony Joshua's career, a statement that some call delusional, while others see as the fearless fire that makes him unpredictable and dangerous. Every time he's been counted out, Paul has defied expectations. But this call-out has sparked explosive reactions. Boxing traditionalists are outraged. Analysts are laughing, and critics argue he's lost his mind because Anthony Joshua is no ordinary opponent. He's a two-time heavyweight world champion. Not Tank Davis, Nate Diaz, or Tyron Woodley.
And he beat him convincingly.
Yes.
And that's all he can do. And I think that he should take the praise from that and build from it, but he shouldn't want the criticism to stop because I think it fuels him.
I'm one with you, and I said that to Joshua in one of the interviews that I'd done with him. I said to him, listen, I knew he was very angry with TalkSport and the criticism he was getting from TalkSport, etc. And I had that conversation with him and said, listen, Josh, you should be feeding off that. That's what good fighters do. You feed off that. Go and prove them wrong. That's where your fuel should be coming from. And I think to a certain extent, he's sort of done that. I said, look, you're like, if people are talking about you, it's a good thing because that means that, you're doing something right.
He wasn't ready for Anthony Joshua because Anthony Joshua was a different thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just, he's got more one-shot knockout power. He took it more seriously, too.
I know he likes to switch in. But again, this is where the boxing is. If you don't have that kind of intellect in the boxing, that footwork and foot positioning is put your foot on one side, you're going to get killed. You put your foot on the other side, you're safe. You can kind of manage the power and see the punches coming. But he kept switching stances, but just leaving himself in just the wrong positions.
Yeah, he wasn't ready.
Wasn't ready. There was a lot of hype off the Fury fight.
Also, Joshua got to watch him box in the Fury
smart.
fight, see some patterns. Fury, I think, probably took him lightly.
Yes, I think so.
He's one of the greatest of all time. This guy's never had a boxing match. At the beginning of the fight, he's like, time to go to school.
His 11th fight. I don't know. Who did Arthur Beterbiev fight? Jake Paul has found a way to make himself the cash cow early in his career to where we shouldn't care.
Jake Paul has become the fighter right now that everybody wants to fight because right now he is the cash cow. He made $40 million just off of Netflix.
He has found a way to do something with his following, get under people's skin to make people care about these fights.
What advice would you give to somebody like AJ?
That he has a lot of talent and not to get discouraged. He only loses when he quits. When you quit, all the doors of opportunities close. You know what I mean? You have to be game. And then don't get discouraged if you lose. Listen, you just lost. You may have got $30 million. You should give Usyk a kiss and say, can we do this again? Don't let this internalize you. Oh, I can't fight now. This white boy kicked my ass. People are laughing at me. No, he kicked my ass for $50 million or $30 million. I hope he kicks my ass again. But this time it might not work out that way. I'm gonna kick his ass. I just think the more time you lay off, the worse you get. You have to fight to be the best. You have to do it more and more and more.
What do you say to the people who say Anthony is ruining his legacy just by taking this fight?
Fans don't respect what he's done in the sport already. He's an Olympic gold medalist, 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world.
I sort of sympathize with him because I feel like if he doesn't beat him quicker than he beat Francis, people are just going to write it off. I'll ask you bluntly, have there been any discussions about there's an agreement, there's a secret contract? Have any of those discussions happened regarding this fight?
It's an 8-round professional fight. AJ wouldn't have taken it if that was the stance it had to be, if it was an exhibition, if it was you've got to hold him up for 8 rounds. It wouldn't suit Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is going in there to knock out Jake Paul.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on, like you can't be serious. He can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I?
Anthony Joshua is a man with Olympic pedigree, a fighter who has faced the best in the world and can end a fight with a single punch. While Jake Paul has never faced a challenge of this magnitude, yet Paul's fearless confidence makes the matchup unpredictable. He isn't backing down and is calling Joshua out with unprecedented aggression. He thrives as the underdog, feeding off doubt and criticism, is using that mindset to fuel the biggest moment of his boxing career. Experts say his only realistic path to victory is leveraging his youth, explosiveness, and his unpredictable looping overhand right that has surprised opponents before.
It's a massive mistake to look past it, seriously. I'm putting a spin in all of those plans. Don't book anything, don't arrange flights and hotels. I'm knocking this guy out, becoming the CEO of Master Boxing and changing the plan. It's going to be me versus Tyson Fury next year.
You feel like you are being disrespected with all these fans.
What's the one best thing that you pride Jake Paul of having that maybe you haven't seen in other competition you faced so far?
From a physical aspect, I couldn't even mention it at the minute. But from a mental aspect, he offered me to fight. Normally, I'm offering people fights. He's told me, come and fight. So he believes in himself.
I consider Jake now, I wouldn't consider him like a YouTube fighter no more. I feel like he put in the time. He gotten better throughout like all his fights. Like he done got better throughout all those fights, But it's still like when you fighting like fighters who actually like done it for like their whole life, it's a little different. If that fight happened, it'll be a good money fight. It'll be a good money fight. But that's a tough task for, Jake going to get that big ass heavyweight AJ. I know AJ personally, so that's a tough task, and that motherfucker can punch.
He's gonna get battered. He's gonna get absolutely
preaching to the choir, bro.
Annihilated.
Yeah, take it to just as they turn to the side. That's it, just there, and watch Jake. He looks at him, keeps looking, and then Joshua looks back. Yeah.
Jeez.
Great. I just, it's incredible, really.
I don't know if you've seen this fight's in the works, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul. As a Brit, how do you evaluate?
I've just seen that. Someone just told me about that. That's mad. Fair play to Jake Paul, first of all, for taking it. But if AJ doesn't knock him out in like 1-2 rounds, then I feel like the fight must be fixed or something, because I'm going to Anthony Joshua, obviously, for the KO. So yeah, when is it,
It's going to be next month they're working towards.
Oh yeah, sick. I'm going AJ for the win.
Cheers.
Two of your last 6 opponents, Usyk, Jermaine Franklin, Daniel Dubois, Francis Ngannou, which of those would Jake Paul beat, do you think?
Maybe Ngannou. That's a fight that we might see in the future. That's a good question. I swear to you, I was quite asking myself that yesterday. Some of the fighters that I fought, I wonder how they'll get on with Jake. And that's a good question for your followers. How would some of the fighters that I fought get on with Jake?
Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. I think everybody's going to get what they finally been waiting for.
Jake Paul may not outbox Anthony Joshua technically, but he could catch him off guard, land a heavy shot early, and pressure a Jay in ways he hasn't felt in years. Paul isn't fighting for belts or legacy. He's fighting to prove the world wrong and establish himself as a legitimate heavyweight threat. Joshua, meanwhile, risks everything and gains little. Dominating Paul would be expected, while struggling or taking damage would invite harsh criticism. Jake believes this pressure could make a Jay crack, declaring this his moment to make history in December. With the chaos, trash talk, size difference, and raw danger on both sides, this fight has become more than a match. It's a war of ego, pride, and confidence. And its unpredictability is exactly what makes it so thrilling.